Welcome to Dom's Corner. I'm your host, Dom Martino. If you like this content here, please hit that like button below, subscribe to the channel, and leave some feedback in the comment section. I appreciate that very much. We have a lot to talk about today, a lot of fun stuff. I have a few reviews I'm going to do, one for Class Action Park, another for Tenet, another one for Mulan, so stick around for that. But before we get to all that, and the main topic, which is going to be where the hell is that Mandalorian trailer at? We'll get into that too. I did want to say, I wanted to mention on Wednesday, we are going to be doing a Phantom Menace, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace spoiler discussion. I'm going to have Adam Leach on for that. He and I are going to have a lot of fun talking about that because he and I are both big Star Wars fans and we definitely know the material very well. So he and I both revisited Phantom Menace and we're going to talk about that on Wednesday. So make sure you guys are tuning in for that. It's always nice to have Adam on, and he's a wonderful dude, and I'm very appreciative that he's willing to do this with me. So big thank you to him, and make sure you guys tune into that Wednesday. It's going to be awesome. We're going to have closer to a 2-hour show that day, so it's going to be great. Okay, guys. So before we get started, the first thing I want to talk about, not before we get started, let's get started. The first thing I want to talk about is where the hell is this Mandalorian trailer? So for those of you who don't know, Mandalorian Season 2, and Disney just put up an Instagram post about this here quite recently about how the Mandalorian Season 2 is going to be coming on October 30th. You can catch all the episodes on October 30th. So, why haven't we had a trailer for this yet? Well, I don't know. Here's what I'm going to say. I don't know what the holdup is here, and I'm pretty upset about it. I'm just as upset as everybody else. This is the thing. When Disney put that post up on Instagram, they said, this is the day. October 30th is all episodes are streaming. I'm paraphrasing the post, but I definitely know that started with this is the day. When you say that in your post, you're giving very mixed signals. And it makes you think that perhaps the trailer is coming out on that day. Now, for me, I don't quite get that because, sorry guys, the color is about to change here on the screen. Okay, sorry about that. I had to edit something real quick so that way this video didn't keep lagging. So my apologies. Hopefully it looks a little smoother now. Anyway, so when you put a post up that says basically this is the day and we still haven't gotten a trailer, don't you think it's sending mixed signals? And that, you know, the fans are all going to think that there's going to be a trailer on the day when you post something about Mandalorian Season 2 and the post starts with this is the day. It's bothersome, and I think it was unprofessional on their part. Now, I understand that they were talking about October 30th, but still, you would think that this is the day meant the trailer was coming out. Now, I know all the episodes are streaming on October 30th. And here's the thing. There have been a lot of people that have been speculating that, and they said that they've heard that they're just not going to do a trailer for this, to which I say, what? I don't want to sit here and hate and talk trash, but Disney needs to get their heads out of their asses. Because it seems to me that the only reason that we have not gotten a trailer so far is because Star Wars Celebration had to get canceled, maybe. That's my thinking on this. I don't know. But it just feels very wrong to not have a trailer by now. Especially like when Star Wars Celebration was supposed to be like last weekend initially. And they would have had a trailer there, right? So when we're in the middle of a pandemic and we're all kind of hurting for something Star Wars, I would think that Disney would get their heads out of their asses and get this trailer out. And it doesn't seem like they're going to. Now, I've heard other reports from people that I trust even more than the ones that are saying there's not going to be a trailer, that are saying that the trailer is coming right around the corner, that it's going to be here any day now. It's going to be here soon. But it still bothers me that Disney has not put it out yet. And I think that that's wrong. I got to be honest with you. I think it's wrong in the midst of a pandemic. I'm not trying to be that butthurt guy, but come on. The thing comes out in October and we still don't have a trailer. But anyway, that is my thoughts on that. So we do have some reviews. So I saw 3 things, and I'm going to talk about all 3 here. So the first thing I'm going to talk about here is Class Action Park. Now, if you guys don't know what Class Action Park is, it's a documentary on HBO Max right now, and it is one of the most insane documentaries I've ever seen. Like, it talks about this park that basically, it wasn't water park. It was I was going to say amusement park, but it was more a water park, which is an amusement park in its own right, that had the highest injury rate and the highest death toll of like any water park out there. I mean, this stuff is insanity. Like, this guy who ran this, Gene Moliville, I think was his name, like, gave no fucks. Like, when it came down to the way he ran the park, who he was hiring as employees, the freedom that they had, and that guy was like total anarchy, right? And that they said that the park represented who he was, kind of like how Disney's park represented Walt Disney. Like, it's like Gene Moliville just created a world of anarchy on purpose. And when you watch this documentary, it's insane. The thing I gotta say is that this documentary is hysterical. Like, this guy, I couldn't believe the things that he did. So, like, there was this water slide, and it looked like it was designed by, like, fucking crackheads, right? But this water slide, like, he would have kids go down this thing, and then when they get to the end of it would go down slanted, like, loop at the end, like, and it was like the tubes were like ultra thin, so you're getting hurt in that thing, and there's kids talking about how their nuts just got smashed in that thing, and they go down, and what he would do when they would go down is when they got to the end, he'd give them $100 bill to, like, you know, it's kind of like hush money about how bad that water slide was, because that thing was irresponsible 100%. And he would give out these $100 bills that would shut these kids up. I mean, these kids were coming out with bruises and all that kind of stuff. Oh, any cut and scrape, by the way, that you received at this park, it got sprayed with iodine, which I also found to be nuts. Like, so if I had like a big gash, like, iodine would be going in there, and it would just like burn the hell out of me, because I mean, it's not a chemical that should be going into your skin, but that's what they would do. They would go to this little like hut thing where there was first aid, which a lot of first aid places are like little shacks at amusement parks, so that's kind of normal. But they said that this one just looked, there was something like extra janky about this one, and they would be set in there and they would just get sprayed with some iodine, and this would happen on like a daily basis almost. So I mean, like, when you see like some of these rides, like the teenagers, like the rafts would go over other people, like it was like bumper cars but with rafts. Like, it's just irresponsible. So yeah, kids were getting hurt. I don't want to give away too much for you guys, but like another thing is, like, the guy made up his own insurance company. Like, you guys got to see this stuff. And the thing is he was like a Wall Street guy, so yeah, you know, he was really sketchy, and he had money, and he just didn't care, and he could buy his way out of anything. So when it came down to things getting reported, there was really no telling, you know, if at least for the media, like how bad the stuff was getting, you know, but like the kids knew, but they loved it because it was like this place where you got to be free and just do what you want and get away from your folks, and it was just total anarchy, and you can, like, you know, when you're like when you're a child and you're like managing like like maybe 1/3 of that park, like, you're gonna be pretty excited, you know, like, it's all ran by kids, and I thought the rope thing was crazy. Like they had kids swinging on ropes, and then they would jump off into this thing, and then they would like flash their asses to like everybody as they were jumping off. Like this stuff is awesome. But now one of the things I really liked about the documentary is it balanced like the serious moments, because there is a death toll here that happened at the park, and when you get into the death toll part of it, it would when you got into the death toll part of it, like the documentary became serious, yeah, so like I enjoyed that balance. And then they also had like these really cool like old Schoolhouse Rock type like animations to it, to really illustrate shit. And anyway, so I don't want to get into everything, because I mean you could all obviously look all this stuff up online too, so it's not really a spoiler to say what I've said already. But on the same hand, like I don't want to give away too much, because I really want you guys to experience this and laugh your asses off, because this documentary is hysterical on your own. But anyway, guys, check out Class Action Park. It's on HBO Max. I had a really good time with it. Let me know what you guys thought in the comment section there down below. And if you're interested in checking this out, and like if anybody's actually been to Action Park back when it was actually real, it closed in like 96, let me know in the comments below and tell me if you have a story or an experience, because I really would like to hear that. Like any stories that you have, please type it in to the comments below. Much appreciated. Or you could send me a personal DM on my Instagram, which is down below, and I would love to read some of these stories. And also, if I have any permission to read any of these stories on the air, let me know too, because I would just the experiences at Action Park had to be unreal for a lot of you folks. So if you've been to Action Park, if you had experience, please let me know. I would love to read some of these out on the air. I could do them anonymously. Just let me know how you would like that done. But yeah, I'm blown away by that. Anyway, so that is my review for Class Action Park. And like I said, let me know what you guys thought, or if you remembered Action Park, or you had any experiences. So moving on. So I did get to see Mulan. So I'll talk about we'll talk about Mulan. So I cannot remember the director's name, but I think she's like fairly new. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but okay, so here's Mulan. This is my review of it. The beginning of Mulan is rushed. That's how I felt. I felt like the beginning of Mulan was very, very rushed. But the entire middle span of Mulan is fantastic. Like, it's a good movie. Like, the woman, something Yi or something like that, Fifi Yu. I'm bad at pronunciation, so I'm sorry. Who played Yifi Yu, I think is actually what it is. I'm sorry about that. So she played Mulan like amazingly. Like I was so blown away by her performance. If you're a fan of the original animated stuff, there's like the story is very similar, like very similar. Like, so they definitely like try to adapt like a lot from the original animated one. And then there's some moments though where I thought that they were adapting way too much, because it's like some things work for the direction that they were trying to go for, and then other things don't. But that said, this movie is so visually stunning, and like when it gets into the battle sequences, like it's legit. It's definitely like an incredible like battle sequence, because it's stunning. It looks mature. There's some stuff that like Mulan can do that seems slightly ridiculous, but like it's still kind of cool when you're watching it on the screen. So like when Mulan does certain things with her abilities, like you do feel like it's a bit much, but it's still very, very cool. Like, I mean, there's some moments in the movie that like I feel like Mulan maybe could have like they could have done a better job in the story to make Mulan like earn these moments better, but you're still kind of watching this like this is one of the most stunning adaptations of a animated Disney movie that I've ever seen. And the story is just so good, and I love that it had like a lot of heart to it too. And I liked I mean, I thought a lot of the stunt work was cool. There's some really cool like stunt guys that were doing some stuff on horses that just looked amazing, and it's a very stunning movie, without a doubt. But yeah, I actually think that it's definitely worth paying $30 for, like, because you know, it definitely is one of those things where, I mean, like I said earlier on, not earlier on this episode, but on a past episode, when Adam and I were talking about it, like, you get to keep Mulan on your Disney Plus, right? So and it's definitely rewatchable. It's not like it's a long movie at all. So I definitely recommend checking out Mulan. The score is very good as well. But like, one of the things I actually really liked, and this isn't a spoiler, but like, one of the things I really enjoyed is, like, instead of like having a cricket in the movie, like, they just named one of the warriors Cricket. And that's just an example of like how they kind of wanted to go in this more mature and adult route. So like, that's just something to give you guys, because I mean, this movie is very, very good, and the story is solid. I just felt like there wasn't enough structure to the pacing to keep me just absolutely loving this movie, but it is really great on the same hand. Like, I don't know like how they pulled off some of the stuff in here, because like, I mean, there's some stuff that's like genuine, like it looks like it's genuine stunt work, and then there's other times where you can tell it just like it did rely on its animation maybe a little too much, but for the most part, like, everything in the movie looks solid. It's a solid it has a solid structure. Donnie Yen's in the movie, and he's just awesome, right? He did a really good job. But yeah, I thought this movie was great. It's a great movie. I was just worried for it in the beginning because of the rushed sort of pacing to it, and then like toward the end, it kind of felt like they were kind of rushing to wrap it maybe a little bit. It was just a much shorter movie than I was expecting, and a little bit different than I was expecting. But I definitely enjoyed it. It was cool to kind of watch it at home. I am bummed I didn't get to see it in an IMAX screen, because I fully intended to run out to the IMAX to see this once it had been released. But unfortunately, you know, with the circumstances, it was cool to kind of be able to see something like this at home, you know, for the first time. It was odd because, like, I know that, like, I would have seen this in the theater. You know what I mean? So the fact that this is something that just went straight to streaming, you know, something with this magnitude of production level value to it, it's pretty insane. But they really did a good job. The performances are pretty good all the way around. I won't say I didn't care. I mean, I did care about the relationships that were like created between like all the warriors, but then there's like one or two that I'm like, maybe they could have dove into that a little bit better. Like, I could have definitely used like a couple extra scenes. It's kind of like what I was saying about New Mutants, although this is a better movie than New Mutants without a doubt. Like, don't get me wrong, but like, it's still like much like New Mutants. It just felt kind of short. But I really enjoyed this movie a lot, and I think a lot of people are going to, and I hope that I think a lot of young women are going to watch this and feel inspired, and that's kind of the important thing. But oh man, the score for Mulan is really, really good. I definitely recommend checking out the soundtrack because it's great. And I know Christina Aguilera has done reflections for this, and oh man, it's a beautiful version of it. And oh my god, just watching Mulan just hop out onto the battlefield was so dope, like so badass. Like, yeah, it was incredible. But anyway, guys, if you saw Mulan, let me know what you thought of it. This is one you can watch from home, so definitely check this out if you can. It's a $30 buy for premiere access on your Disney Plus. And you can watch it that way. So yeah, and if you can't afford it right now, because I know a lot of people are struggling, and I get that, I mean, definitely just know that it will be on Disney Plus in December, or so it seems. So I think Disney's finally come out and confirmed it's going to be on Disney Plus for everybody in December, so you can wait till then. But I thought Mulan was great. So that is my review for Mulan. Let me know what you guys thought. Anyway, so the grand finale here of reviews is Tenet. Now, this is one of my most anticipated movies of the year. I know it's a lot of your guys' most anticipated. Tenet, to me, is so brilliant and amazing. Like, okay, I don't want to talk about it too much, but if you blink, you might miss something. That's just a fact. And you got to know that going in. I mean, Christopher Nolan's movies always kind of, they always kind of got this quick dialogue to it, right? But this one is one where the detail is so important. And I'm going to get the complaints about this movie out of the way, too, just right off the bat here, because I know a lot of people are complaining about the sound mixing. Not the sound design, because the sound design is incredible in the film, without a doubt. But the mixing of it it's a problem, because there's times where the score is so loud that you can't necessarily hear the dialogue. But that only happens a couple times. There's a couple times where they were doing it like on purpose, and like it was supposed to be that way. But then there's a couple times in the movie that you're like, wow, I legitimately am having a hard time like hearing people, and that is like a legitimate complaint. I know it's happened in Christopher Nolan movies before, but this time it was far more evident. But I don't know, I think that Nolan kind of has this way about his filmmaking where he wants you to really pay attention to his movies, and you do have to in this one, because every little detail matters. But and this movie is closer to like the 3-hour mark, but that said, it's not boring by any means. Like, I was entertained the entire time. Like, there's enough going on in this movie that it keeps you entertained, and it's a very good like suspense thriller with like a lot of action, and just it really is incredible. And like this, it kind of reminded me of like Nolan's take on like what a James Bond movie would be like it's got that kind of tone to it, because like the villain is like Kenneth Branagh's villain is definitely like a Bond villain. His villain, his character's name is Sato in the movie, and definitely like a Bond type villain for sure. And like this is like what Christopher Nolan does, right? He makes like super sophisticated, blockbusters, and this one is probably up amongst the most sophisticated blockbusters. I mean, there's like a real class to the movie. There's a real class to the characters, and so I found that to be really incredible. Elizabeth Debicki is also amazing in this movie. Like I not too familiar with previous work of hers, I gotta be honest, but in this movie she is incredible. Like, what a good hire there. I mean, John David Washington as the protagonist, and that is literally the name we have for him, is the protagonist in the movie. But John David Washington as the protagonist is amazing. Like he just has like such charisma on screen, and it really, like, that's another thing that's kind of like Bond, like Bond movies, like they kind of make you rely on the classiness of the actor, right, or the charisma of the actor to really become attached to the character. And here it's the same thing. Like, John David Washington's protagonist is very good and very amazing. I could say that Tenet, as the name of the movie is important. This movie deals in with time inversion, and I can't explain to you what time inversion is, but I can at least tell you that the word Tenet actually is a big hint to how it all kind of works, because you got to remember that Tenet is 10 spelt forward and backward, and that's very important to this whole thing. And then when it comes, I mean, it's a code name for an event that's going to happen later on in the movie, toward the end. And wow, is it amazing when you see it all happen or go down. I mean, there's times in this movie too where there's just things going forwards and backwards at one time, and that is kind of the concept of time inversion. But I'm just not going to explain to you how it all works, because there's still stuff to it that you need to let unfold in the movie. And some of the things just really surprised me in this movie. This is a really brilliant movie. The way that Everything was cleverly used throughout it. The way that things just, a lot of the stuff on the screen looks unreal. I was nervous about the score for this movie going in, because Hans Zimmer usually does the score for Christopher Nolan movies, and he usually does that high anxiety type of scores. Now, and this time he got Ludwig Göransson to do it, which I'm a huge fan of Ludwig. I mean, from the stuff he's done with Childish Gambino, he has a lot of responsibility for Childish Gambino's career needs to be credited to him, to Ludwig, because he did do a lot of the production work for his music. So I'm a huge fan of him from that, and I love the score he did for Creed, and I love the score he did for Black Panther. I mean, like, really love the score for Black Panther. And then the score for Mandalorian's become iconic already. He did the score for that. So I was looking forward to seeing what he did with something like this, but I was still, like, thrown off that it wasn't Hans Zimmer. But throughout the movie, it's amazing what Ludwig Göransson did with the score. This score is just, it is one of Nolan's best scores for his movies. I mean, Ludwig just did a bang up job. I like that it still is that kind of high anxiety type Christopher Nolan type score that you have in a film, but it like really keeps you on the edge. And I saw this on an IMAX screen, and like there's a shooting in an opera house like right at the beginning of this movie, which is not a spoiler. And I thought there was a shooting in the theater, like, and just like it was freaky because the high anxiety type music was going on. You're just like, oh shit, and it's loud, but it's awesome. It's just awesome. Visually throughout, this movie is amazing. You would not expect anything less from a Christopher Nolan movie, but this movie looks incredible throughout. Like, and it's so well structured and so well done, this movie, and damn, like, I really feel like this is the movie I've been waiting on, like, all year. Like, this is really, really next level shit, like, that Nolan plays with, and I love the way he manipulates time to make his stories work. Now I saved the performance for last because I wanted to really talk about it more, and that's not to say this is the best performance in the movie, but it was like the most likable character in this is Neil, who's played by Robert Pattinson to me. Robert Pattinson in this movie is like, for once, because he's typically like a character actor, but for once he's playing like closest to what I feel like Robert Pattinson is in real life. Like, he's got his actual accent in this movie, I feel like, and that's not a bad thing, because he ends up being like one of the most likable characters in this film, and one of the most significant characters, even though he's not like littered throughout the marketing. He actually is one of the most significant characters in the film, if not the most significant. So that's a little hit for you guys. But he really does do a good job, and I actually found him to be the most likable character in the whole thing, and I liked what he was doing here. And even though he was playing something that was closer to his actual self, I still found him to be very likable. I've heard like quite a few complaints about this movie that it wasn't going to be as accessible for audience members, and there is some truth to that. Like, as Nolan films go, like, this is one of the least accessible like storylines, because again, you do have to be paying attention to every single detail to understand it. But I think if you're doing that, you're going to understand it, and that's just what it comes down to. Like I said, he likes to make his films in a super sophisticated way. I'm not gonna, even though I'm excited about this, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like it's my favorite Christopher Nolan movie, but it's up there with his best. I mean, it's probably in the top 5, but I could do a ranking some other time on that, but I'm not ready to rank it yet. I do need to see it again. And the thing is like, when it comes down to having to see this movie again, I mean, yes, you're going to miss details, and there's extra details you're going to want to pick up on. But because of the element that's added about midway through the movie, because there is something added midway through the movie, it's going to make you want to watch the first half of the film again, because it changes a lot about that first half. You know, so that's mainly what's keeping me wanting to watch it again. But the way that it's all cleverly put into the movie, it's the time inversion stuff. Nolan knows how to manipulate time to make his story work, and it's really something that he's been the bomb at. And how amazing is this guy, though? I mean, he just continues to innovate, throughout his films, and this is no exception to that. Like, Nolan did an incredible job on this movie. Boy, did I love it. Tenet is one hell of a good time, guys. I did see it in the IMAX, and it's made for the IMAX. The one thing I'm going to say here is I really, really wish he just would have waited. Just would have waited until we were all able to go out to the theater. I mean, it's limited capacity right now. This movie probably would have done it would have been very successful if he had just waited, and I would have waited, and I would have been fine waiting. But we have it now, and like I always say, like, if you're gonna go to the theater, be safe. I think that they're doing a pretty good job of keeping people safe. It's safer than the grocery store. I mean, that's for sure. So, if you're gonna go to the IMAX to see this, just be safe, guys. Wear the mask. Take the precautions. Just be safe. Anyway, guys, so that's pretty much all I have today. I will tell you, I did start watching season 2 of The Boys, and I haven't gotten through the first 3 yet. But what I've seen of season 2 of The Boys is amazing. Let me know what you guys think of The Boys down below in the comments. I really appreciate that very much. Okay, guys. I have a lot to do for Labor Day weekend, so I got to get going. But I appreciate you guys tuning in to this probably slightly shorter episode of Dom's Corner, but means a lot. So I will see you guys when I see you on Wednesday. And I'll be here with Adam Leach, and we're going to be talking about Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. We're going to do a whole discussion that's in-depth about the film, and we're going to have a lot of fun doing it. So please make sure you guys tune into that. This has been Dom's Corner. I've been Dom Martino. Like this video. Hit that subscribe button below. Leave some feedback in the comment section. I'll be leaving my Twitter and Instagram in the description below, so be sure to follow me there. Oh, and don't forget now, guys, Dom's Corner is on Spotify, so be sure to tune into it there as well. Thank you guys for tuning in. I've been Dom Martino, and I will see you guys on Wednesday.